The March sub-battle is winding down with just a few days left, and we are losing against our Patriots channel here at Chat Sports. In general, that host is very lame. So let's make sure that they do not win. Hit that sub button to beat them and get free Dolphins videos all off-season long. The latest on the Miami Dolphins, some rumors, ideas, updates, news, etc. We begin with the safety position. Justin Simmons remains a free agent, which I'm very intrigued by and borderline surprised by, quite frankly. The Dolphins continue to be linked as a potential fit, and understandably so. The new DC, Anthony Weaver, has run some three safety looks in the past, with at least his defense did in the Ravens when he wasn't, of course, the defensive coordinator. And the Dolphins need safety depth. They're pretty thin at that spot at the moment. Is Justin Simmons the same guy he was at his absolute peak and prime, etc.? No, probably not. I don't think that's the guy you're going to end up getting, the fringe all-pro caliber safety. But I think you're still getting a good football player. You're still getting someone who is able to contribute and help you and be a starting caliber safety. So I am a bit surprised he's unsigned, as we get almost through March here into April. And you're kind of at the point of like, does he even sign before the draft, or does he wait and see what the market looks like then? Maybe should be pretty similar money-wise. And you also have the clarity that typically at this stage both parties tend to prefer to seek. Maybe his asking price is too high. And that wouldn't be a surprise to me either, because the safety market is actually pretty deep at the moment. There are still good players who are unsigned, who can help a team like Miami, and oftentimes those teams go, okay, let's just wait and see how this all plays out, right? Among the other free agent safeties not named Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon, Quandre Diggs, Micah Hyde, if you just want to run it back with the Bills safety room, Marcus May, Eddie Jackson, Deshaun Gibson, safety, maybe more linebacker at this point, Jamal Adams, Rudy Ford, Kareem Jackson, Tracy Walker. Those are guys that those are your number 3 safety. Don't you feel pretty good about that? If you don't add somebody via the draft, you have Javon Holland, you have Jordan Poyer. Those two are kind of interchangeable, strong, free types that can do a lot of different things for you. Do split, do box, do deep. All those boxes are checked off there. It's just you only have Elijah Campbell behind him. So it'd be an older room, but it'd be a good room. Added Simmons, or insert other veteran safety you want to add in free agency. So would you sign Justin Simmons? Y for yes, N for no. This will be today's pinned comment. So if that ad comes on YouTube, cool. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Trade idea coming in to us from PFF. Now, this was like 6 trades they want to see happen in round 1. And their trade idea was the Packers move up to get Cooper DeJean and the Dolphins trade down. Now, this was spun more of like a Packers-focused thing, but it wasn't involving the Dolphins. I will, of course, want to focus on Miami. Here was the trade package from PFF. Dolphins get a first-round pick. In order to move down 4 slots, they get a 5th-round pick, 169. Nice. And a future 3rd-round pick. Now, the overall trade value is pretty spot on in terms of the trade value charts, the more advanced one, not quite the old, outdated Jimmy Johnson one. It's pretty good value. It's not like one team is wildly winning or losing there. I do have one issue with the idea, specifically from the Dolphins' point of view, however. We'll break down my issue, but first, a word from today's sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets. Maybe you're trying to go to a baseball game at the very last second, or maybe you want to plan it for a week ahead or a long time ahead. Either way, Game Time has you covered because prices can drop as the events get closer, especially if maybe the team you're planning on going to isn't very good. And Marlins tickets are already insanely cheap. Again, that's projecting how they're probably going to be this year. But you can go catch a Heat basketball game. You can go catch Inter Miami, which that one is probably going to be a little bit more expensive. Or maybe it's a comedy show, or it's a theater event, or concert, whatever. Game Time has you covered. Go to GameTime.co and use promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, SPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but the link and the promo code will be in the comment section and description of today's show. We appreciate Game Time sponsoring us here at Dolphins Today. So whatever your next event is, make sure you use Game Time and get $20 off in the process with promo code CHATSPORTS. Now, my issue, going back to that trade idea, I am in the market for picks this year. Future picks, great, fine, dandy. I need picks here and now. Here are the Dolphins' 2024 draft picks. They got number 21 overall, their first rounder. 55 overall, their second. No third, no fourth, a fifth, 2 sixths, and a seventh. I have 2 picks in the top 150. What does adding another future third, great. But adding a top 170 pick doesn't do anything for me this year outside of helping my team win games now. And if I were light on picks next year, different conversation. The Dolphins are kind of stacked. A lot of these are projected. The comp picks are all projected, but it's a first, a second, a third. 2 projected third-round picks next year thanks to the losses of Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt at the back end of the third round. Adding another mid to late third-round pick to give me 4, great, but I got too many, frankly. I got a fourth, I got 2 fifths, and 3 sevenths, including a projected 7th-round comp pick. I have 11 picks next year. If I'm the Dolphins, do I need another one? I am set. I am loaded. I am stacked. Give me those 2024 picks instead. Give me a more valuable 2024 pick to help my team now and not have it be overloaded in next year's class. So my counter proposal is actually to trade down further in the hypothetical trade down scenario. Now, this kind of goes to the window. If there's a guy you love there, just stand there and take him. If there's a bunch of guys you like, the trade value is basically a 1-to-1 match, and maybe you go a little bit further down, get more back, or go a little bit further less, and maybe you still get an overpay there, who knows. But you move down 6 spots, I get an extra top 90 pick, and now I have a third-round pick. That makes more sense than getting a future third-round pick for me. So do you want to trade down in the 2024 NFL Draft? 1 for yes, you do. 0 for no. You want to stand pat and pick where you're at. We'll wrap up today's show with a lot of conversation on the possibility of adding a pass rusher for the Miami Dolphins. Fansided has advocated in a couple different pieces for a couple different edge rushers. And I get it. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb are coming off of injury. The Dolphins have said positive things about their recovery, but they were later season injuries. You have to have the question mark of, are they going to be good to go for week 1? And if they aren't, is Shaq Barrett, and hopefully at least one of those guys, Phillips or Chubb, enough? And then, probably a day 3 pick gets added, because I don't know if you're going to spend their top 100 pick on an edge when you're going to have Phillips and Chubb long-term. You're looking for short-term help there. So adding another edge rusher does make some sense. The names discussed. First up, Yannick Ngakoue. If you want another situational pass rusher focus type, Ngakoue does make sense. I think there will be a market for him at some point, probably after the NFL draft as things stabilize. The decline in production was obvious this year. To be fair, the Bears are not a very competitive football team for many of those games, so not like there were prime chances to get after the quarterback. But as a third or fourth edge rusher, and don't worry about the run defense, just go get the quarterback, that should be his role. Mike Dana of the Chiefs next up. He's maybe a bit better of a run-stopping option, which I also think this team should be considering. He's coming off his best year, 7 TFLs, 6.5 sacks. Won't really truly ever be a top 2 edge, I don't think, in the NFL. But again, you're looking for that third, fourth piece. Depending on the cost, he's still young, but surprisingly unsigned, Dana makes sense. Emmanuel Ogbah is next up. Yes, a reunion with Ogbah. Because you were not going to pay him what he was going to make. That didn't make any sense at all. If you get him for, let's just say, 1 year, $3 million, which is kind of like the market I like to spend for that number 4 edge. Okay, sure. He knows the team. Would have to learn the new defense, but I think that wouldn't be too big of an issue there. Paying him $10 million. No, of course not. But $3 million, and you get, let's say, 6 sacks, 5 sacks. It's a pretty good return on your investment, frankly. So what'd you bring back, Emmanuel Ogbah? S for sign, P for pass. Go ahead and get those answers in for me in the comments. The last name mentioned is Bud Dupree, who's kind of become the journeyman edge rusher. Falcons, Titans, and Steelers all in recent seasons with semi-inconsistent production, but also had a good year in 2020. Kind of fell out of issues in Tennessee. The Falcons was solid. Again, you could do a lot worse as your number 4 edge than giving a few $1 million to Bud Dupree. It's a matter of really how do the Dolphins feel about the injury recovery from Phillips and Chubb.